Good evening, everyone. Sorry about the hold up there. We're still waiting for one of our co-hosts to jump on, so apologies for that. I'm Dan from CFT. I'm going to be your host today for this space, which is about key topics.
He's arrived.
He's arrived, is he in?
Fashionably late. Good evening, Billy.
Hello, I'm here. Sorry, I'm late. I'm here.
Here he is. Look at this. It's already messed me up, so I can't believe it. But now let me add you in now as co-host. Sent you an invite now, mate, so hopefully you've got that. And obviously Heidi is there as well, which is great. Before we dive into what we want to discuss, I'm just going to mention that obviously the season ticket pricing came out today, but it's something we're not going to discuss tonight. And the only really reason being is we don't have, I know obviously the price has been frozen, which we spoke about, but we need to know a bit more information about the CRN and understand what impact this could have potentially on us fans and so forth. So without the information, we're going to obviously look to avoid that tonight and just look at the key points that we wanted to raise. So the key topics that will be discussed in depth by you, Heidi.
Yes,
Happy
indeed.
with this one? Yep, excellent. Obviously, Heidi manages our X account, and she regularly gets a lot of important questions from fans and so forth. And mainly, there's three big questions, we'll say, won't we, really, that come up all the time that you want to obviously address and discuss. I think the first up was we'll explore obviously the context of boycotts, like how many fans are needed for this to be impactful, and how realistic is such an effort. So, is this something that is realistic? Next, we'll discuss match days and the level of fan participation we can expect and what's needed. So that's something that we do want to obviously discuss, and Heidi will be obviously breaking that down. And we'll also like to unpack the meaning behind Levy Out. That's something that we want to mention, and what does it mean basically. So they're the three things that Heidi is going to discuss in detail today. What we were obviously excited to share as well is that we have got some CFT flags for the up and coming protests. Obviously, the reason why we're excited is with all the proceeds we'll get from the flags, we're looking to put these, we're going to look to put it towards the food banks, Tottenham food banks, and Noah's Children's Hospice. This is to support our local community, while also making our voices heard. And obviously, it's key to mention that the link for these flags will be in the CFT bio. So obviously, go and check them out. Like I say, it's going for a good cause, but also to raise awareness, obviously for the up and coming protests. But more importantly, it's obviously to raise money for important, important needs. So yeah, please go on the website and have a look if you can. Links in the bio. Another thing I wanted to address as well today was international fans. A lot of you guys are eager to participate, which is great, and it's noted on our poster. If you could look at maybe obtaining an official flag, which we just spoke about there in our bio, you can get one of those, or even discussing creating your own one or a sign, so forth, tagging us in like we did last time. Your global support is really, really welcomed and needed, and we will treat every single one. So if we can retweet those, that'd be great. And then obviously we have to remember that every single person, every single fan counts, and without your fan base's support, it simply doesn't work. So I've rambled on a little bit there. I just wanted to get a few of those points out today to mention what we're going to be discussing. So again, obviously, I'll pass this over to Heidi to speak about the key topics we want to discuss today. We will look to get the fans on and you guys on to discuss as well, any ideas and so forth and anything you want to talk about. But yeah, over to you, H.
Good evening, everyone. I'm just going to talk briefly about the overview, about the main three questions I get asked daily. And the main one is, for some of you guys, most of you know our stance on this, but obviously some of you don't. And we don't hide the fact we want the owners gone. Enoch and Levy, have neglected the football inside the club in pursuit of financial gain. We all know they've turned Tottenham into an entertainment facility rather than a football powerhouse. But we're fully aware this is not a football club that is for sale. It's a highly complex business, therefore it's a niche market now. So the common question we always hear is, have we got a buyer? And of course we haven't. So, and you're probably all fully aware we haven't got a buyer, otherwise we'd be here. But But the rumours have been there over the years, and there has been interest, and I will hence rumours. Obviously, Enoch wants out, Levy doesn't, but they are rumours. But I just wanted to highlight that as well. But we can't force billionaires to sell, and we can't make but we can make their position incredibly uncomfortable. And we always get the question like he doesn't care. Well, he does to a degree, because the club are fully aware of our presence and are building momentum. And after a while, they're not going to ignore the noise. So the more we grow, the more you're all vocal. It will get to a point where they're going to have to address some issues. So the goal in the meantime, while we get to that stage, either Levy steps aside as chairman or the entire football structure is reevaluated, with the fans being heard. That's our ultimate goal. If that's so, to us, that is possible. But we have to keep up momentum, we have to keep fighting, and we will keep devising ways to drive this forward until we get a result. But it's not an instant solution. So when people say to me, one protest doesn't work, two doesn't work, of course it doesn't. But if we're coming from every angle, a month, 2 months, 6 months down the line, we might start seeing results. So please bear with us, and the negative comments don't help. Right, so on to the atmosphere. It's another reason. Obviously, we all know it's a bit dead. We all know people are naturally boycotting. The loyal fans are priced out. The discontent is growing. And we always get the argument, the stadium still sells out, so Levy doesn't care, right? But if the decline continues, what's the attraction? Because you've got to think about this logically. So, if we carry on this path next season, what's going to happen? People aren't going to start coming. People are going to start going away, even the day trippers, because why are they going to bother watching that or sitting in an empty stadium with no atmosphere? But, as fans, we can help drive this forward. It's not just on us to create an atmosphere. So the narrative must change. So nothing changes unless we demand it, and we as fans kind of change our attitude around that. So the more pressure, more noise, and kind of more action. So, and obviously a lot of people want boycotts, walkouts, and I can completely understand why people suggest this, and I appreciate the frustration behind it. However, the reality is we can't force anyone to give up their ticket, leave their seat, or join a chant. It's personal choice. So many fans have already made the decision to stop attending, and while I respect that, we also need to be realistic, because right now there aren't enough match-going fans in that stadium willing to take part in these actions. So the real question I want to ask you guys tonight, and your input, is how do we get them on board? Because over the past week, we've been looking at this, and we've been actively engaging with people to grow our presence, not just on X, but across every social media platform and contacts that we have, to try and get the message far and wide. So we really need you guys to think about this as well. How can you spread our message? Because we can't really do it from our social media platforms. We've got 4, aren't that big enough. So everyone needs to get on board with this. And also with chants, anyone can start a chant, because when we have bad results, I will get endless messages going, I can't hear anything, there's no chance, what are you doing? Well, there's only 11 of us, and we're not all present at games all the time. So, there's something the fans need to be doing as well, actively, because we can't do it all. So we've just got to focus on building momentum and stuff that actually works. But our in-stadium presence is key to this. Outside of it, we've got a lot of noise. Inside, we haven't. So how can we do this? And ultimately, we've all got to work together. We've all got to be loud. We've all got to be clear. But the main thing is, don't be defeated. So don't give up because no one's singing in the stadium. That's not the end goal. No one's chanting. But, if we can get some noise going eventually, or building a few more people to join in stadium protests, that will go over time. That's about enough from me. So I'll give you to Billy.
Yo, thank you for that, Heidi. And I really appreciate that you're always on the front line, basically fielding these questions every day. So really appreciate your work. And yeah, just keep looking up to the communications on social media, I would say, because a lot of people ask us questions that Heidi's out there answering every day. So yeah, keep your eyes on there, because that's always the same messages come out from us, as Heidi was just saying there. And then another one that keep getting, I know they get on Instagram a lot, I know that we've been having since the beginning, is about the scarves. So we don't sell scarves. We don't sell scarves officially through CFT. There are some independent people selling them. We've retweeted those people on Twitter. Heidi, is it out 1882? Is that they're at something like that, isn't it?
I think that if you ask me, I will just tag them in. If you want a scarf,
Yeah.
and we just tag them in the post, and they will respond to you, and they will sort it out, because obviously we don't deal with them.
Yeah, they're not affiliated with CFT, but they are spreading the same message that we're spreading. So we're happy to spread the word on them. Lots of people ask them. Their price of £14.50 now, I think, which I think is a pretty reasonable price. Obviously, the original ones were £10 that people were selling outside the ground. They were nothing to do with us, those ones that were selling for £10, but I imagine they're still going. I'm guessing you'll probably see them around at games and stuff.
They are. They're different quality scarves as well, different sizes. So I think the more expensive ones are bigger and longer, and a better quality and thicker. So just find your scarves, because we will need those on the day of the protest as well, with the flags to wave high.
Yeah, and
guys, can I just quickly mention? Obviously, just jumping in there. Obviously, I mentioned about the flags. Do you want to just reiterate that we're looking to do that, but obviously for a good cause?
Yeah. We have got those. Those links will be shared with you. We've got posters to go out and links that will be shared with you on possibly Friday, because obviously tomorrow's game day, so we don't get a lot of action kind of online. So we will look at when you're most active, Sharon, but the links are in our bio now already.
And look, CFT has never and will never be about generating money, which is why, and all the banners and things like that, we've self-funded all of them. We're quite reluctant to take donations when people have been asked them, because we think once that kind of thing gets involved, it can be quite murky sometimes, and we want to keep everything transparent. The cost of the flag is £6.50, which, I think you guys will all agree that's an incredibly low cost. We've tried to make it the minimum cost possible, and we are not profiting at all from this. The only reason that we're doing this is because we want a visual way for fans to be able to show their support inside the stadium. We think if loads of people buy them, it will look really good in the stadium, and that could be a visual key indicator that we've got support. And we've got many people in the stadium that want the owners out.
Fully, obviously, the international fans as well. That would be something they could potentially get. Is that right?
Yeah. They ship worldwide, so they're £6.50, which can't buy anything for £6.50 these days, isn't it? So,
but also you want to reiterate, they can be taken to stadiums, so you won't be questioned on them because they're not that big. So everyone can take them in.
Yeah.
We have queried, haven't we, because of fire certs and things like that. That could be,
we've made them compliant with the stadium entry minimum requirements and all that kind of thing. So they're £6.50 if you want to get involved. But just to reiterate, we're not making any profit off these flags, and any money that we do make will be certainly heading towards charity, Tottenham Food Bank, which is a cause very close to our heart, and Noah's Hospice as well. And just to reiterate, CFT will never be a money generating thing. It's not something that we're interested in. We try and self-fund everything that we can. All 5 of our banners so far have been self-funded. We'll try and keep things that way, but lots of people have been asking for support. So one way that you can definitely support is by buying a flag, taking it to the stadium, taking a picture with the flag, and just get as much traction on the image that loads of fans want change.
Yeah, well said, Billy. Actually, that's really, really well said, mate. Because I think that's really important when you're speaking about obviously the flags, and obviously us self-generating certain self-funding the banners. I think like we try and obviously put it across everybody. We're season ticket holders, right? We're just Tottenham fans. We're the same as everybody else. We're not here for profit or anything like that. We are here to make change, and obviously it's in the name. So I think that's really key to keep pushing that out there, making sure people are aware. So yeah,
especially now that we can't sell our category A games for full price anymore.
That's something that's for another day.
Might have to start going again.
Oh God, Christ! Honestly, we've got a few requests that we'll go to. Obviously, like the guys have said, if you've got anything that you can add to what we've spoken about, it would be obviously much appreciated. Obviously, Heidi's put the queries out there. She gets a lot of questions. I say we, but Heidi has to answer them all. So, if you're one of those fans that is asking about boycotts and how you think there's a way that we could do it, we'd love to hear from you. And is it realistic?
I don't think it is. I think you've got to understand, you can't force people not to go to games. Naturally, people are boycotting. So there's people that have decided to walk away, but we can't tell people don't go. You can't. It's like the same thing. You can't tell people how to spend their money. So we can say no merch day, but people, if they want a drink or a pie, they're going to go and buy it. So,
of course,
we've got to kind of think realistically, how are we going to get stadium fans on board inside? That's the ultimate game, because that's where our presence will grow.
Perfect. Right, let's get. I've got a question from David H, who I'm going to add in, and then I've got Billy as well. So I'll add David in to have his say. David, I'm just about to add you in now. David, are you there? It's
He's
connecting.
coming from Australia, so bear with him. He's down under.
Okay. David, are you there?
Morning, everyone. Hope you're well.
Good
Yeah.
morning.
Oh, it's evening here, but good morning, David. Hope you're well.
Yeah, good, thanks. If there's a lot of noise in the background, I'm just standing by the side of a very busy road.
No problem.
Few things that you've raised, and just want to make some points. I think on the subject of boycotts, I don't think they work. I think the beauty of what you've done so far, so the momentum that you've kicked off and created, is when you had that original banner
Yeah.
4 or 5 weeks ago, right? Now, that got into the mainstream media, and that's when the conversation started. A thing of beauty. Well done.
Great
Now,
point.
the trick is, as you said, Heidi, I'll just stop a minute because I'm going to go a very busy fucking road, is this. The trick is this. Boycotts don't work, walkouts don't work, anything like that. People who have boycotted not going anymore, they're obviously physically not going to be there. Someone like real estate turns up, attends the protest and goes home. And good on him for doing that. But the trick now is persuading those people who have gone to the game, may not want to get involved in a march or anything like that, is that you need to keep driving the narrative in the mainstream media and across the YouTubes and the pods as much as you can, because you're going to get people thinking. And one of the successes of the march, which was the biggest numbers that we've seen so far, is that that's what you did, and that's what you've got to keep on doing.
This is my
right?
ultimate aim. I like to question the
Yeah, well,
narrative and get people to think, because slowly they kind of come round to an idea of like, oh, I get that. That's why you're doing it, as opposed to just screaming boycott, don't go.
that's exactly right. Because those people who boycotted are not paying tickets anymore. That's their right. And they're not there. They're not physically there the day of a protest or anything like that. I think the flags idea is a great idea, but it's all about being pragmatic and thinking to yourself, there are people, look, if I was there in London and I had a season ticket, I'd come along to the protest. I'd do all that. But I'd probably still end up, I'd still want to go to the game and I still want to enjoy the experience. Sorry, and I use that term loosely the way we're playing at the moment, of going to the game with family and friends, watching the game and going home. So I think it's about pragmatism at the end of the day. And it's basically going, right, you've got this bulk of people there and you want to kind of move the narrative along with them to get them to start thinking. And I think you need that with other ways of doing it, like strategically. We know, and I've said this before, the accounts are coming out soon.
Yep.
So it's basically getting across the accounts and putting together a list of questions and facts and things like that. And there are people who can help you out on that as well, myself included, where you can do something like release a statement and 10 factual
Yeah, I
questions
think this.
about the
Yeah.
accounts. Yeah. And then it's about having that narrative. Now, none of us want to go out to Outmar Thursday night, Friday morning, my time. But if we do, then again, it comes back into the question about the ownership. And the trick's going to be, this is going to be a long campaign where even when we are quote unquote doing well, which we all want as supporters, it's still about keeping questions on the ownership. And that's the important thing. So I do think that's the stance that you're taking here, and the idea of the flags and getting permissions from the stadium and all this kind of stuff is very well executed, clever stuff. Because if I can't do anything about it, and you can take your flags into the ground, it gets people talking, and that I think is still the trick of what you're doing well so far and what you need to keep on doing. Boycotts and walkouts and all that kind of stuff, it actually makes you look more radical than you need to be. And what you've done is occupy the middle ground and keep on doing it.
And I think ultimately we're not dealing with your average company. We're dealing with people very professional. These are billionaires. They know what they're doing. So we've got to be kind of one step ahead and a little bit smarter. Hence why one of our banners was outside under the 3 signs. Now we'll discuss that on a pod why it was outside. I won't do it tonight, but you'll know a reason why soon.
Yeah. But the fact is, and no doubt people from the club are listening tonight, as is their right, and good evening to all of you, is that yes, you're right. you're dealing with people who've got deep-pocketed lawyers and all the rest of it. So it's always about, and I know I'm not being strategic by saying it's about being strategic, is just thinking about how you can do it where there can be no comeback at anyone. And the way you're doing it so far is beautiful, and just keep it going like that.
Thank you, David.
Yeah, David, great points, mate. I really appreciate that.
Thank you, mate. Really
Yeah,
appreciate
it
that.
makes a lot of sense what you're saying as well. So that's the kind of feedback we want, that's good to hear. So appreciate you coming on as well, all the way from Australia, I believe.
No worries, mate. I'm going to carry on with my rush hour, and I'll just listen into the rest. So thanks,
Cool.
everyone.
We'll speak to you
No
soon about the
worries.
financials. Right. Take care.
Yeah, no
All right.
worries.
Bye.
Take care.
Take
See
care.
ya.
All right. Yeah, he makes some great points there, doesn't he? About obviously keeping it consistent, I suppose, and like you said, a boycott could be seen, as he said, as radical. But would you? It's like you said, Heidi. I think I agree with you. I don't think it's realistic.
No, it's not. How can you would need half that stadium to empty for it to be,
Yeah.
if you've got like one section, they go, oh, they're just having their prawn sandwiches, and no one's going to take it back an eyelid. But if you've got,
Yeah.
you've got half a stadium, but you're not going to get 30,000 people to walk out or not turn up. It's logistically impossible, and people aren't going to do it. They're not going to say, "Oh, I'm not going," even though they've bought their tickets 6 months in advance. They might be taking their family or they've planned to meet someone. So it's not going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I can get behind that and understand and agree to that. To be fair, agree with that. Sorry, not agree to that. But I've got Billy who wants to come and have a conversation, and I've got a couple of others, Chaz and HJS. We will get to you as well. So Billy's been waiting, but I'm going to add you in now, Bill. Add you now, so hopefully you can speak. Billy, you there?
So yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I'm here.
Good
Here he
evening,
is.
Billy.
Hello, mate. How are you?
Evening. I just wanted to reiterate on something you brought up earlier, ID, about the atmosphere in the
Oh yeah,
ground.
go for it.
I get it a lot because obviously, I'm literally at every game.
Yeah.
It's rare I miss a game. I always get constantly, why haven't you got the unique out chance going? Why haven't you done this? Why haven't you done that? You know what you said, like there's 11 of us, yeah? Well, it's taken me 5 years to convince all the 8 people around me who I've been going to football with for years that Enoch are no good for nothing. I won't use the word C, but it begins with a C. Now they all agree with me. But I still can't get them to sing We Want Enoch Out.
I think the expectation of what we can achieve with other fans is quite high, because when you're there, if the football's crap, everyone just stands there numb because they're focused on the game. They're not focused on chance.
And also the Alkmaar game, I'm not going to lie, I reckon it was about 40% corporate people.
Yeah.
And the corporate lot are probably more Enoch in.
Well, they're just there for a day out.
Yeah,
They're not 9 times out of 10. They're not actually hardcore Spurs fans, are they? They're just there for
no,
a day out. They're on a jolly.
there's a couple they get given the tickets from their friends for corporate. They wanted to do a European away day, and you've got to respect that. They're Spurs fans. They wanted to do a European away day, so you can't be in their face. And as much as I chant and I do what I do, I can't physically make the person next to me sing the song.
But also, we've got to, there are guys that, we chat to, whatever, that have tried relentlessly
I
to
know.
work with the club to build the atmosphere up, and they've hit roadblock after roadblock. So something the club has to help with us, because, in Europe, they have their hardcore sections.
Yeah.
We don't have that. If the club allowed, those guys to do their job and get that section going, it wouldn't have died off. Do you know what I mean? Because people would be there wanting to sing and get the atmosphere going.
It's one of the things I love about European aways, and I'm always fascinated on how they've always got a great atmosphere. And it's one of the reasons why just lately I've been going to another game and going in with European ultras and experiencing their atmosphere, because it's completely different to what we're experiencing in England. It's mental.
Yeah, well, they just let themselves go and go with it. I think sometimes we're a bit stiff, aren't we? Some
I was
people are a bit
told when I
afraid
was
to
out in
start
Galatasaray.
singing.
This was what I was told when I was out in Galatasaray. The Galatasaray fans, when they go to away games, they don't even watch the game. They just make noise for the whole 90 minutes, then watch the game on the way home. I don't know how true that is, but that is what someone told me out in Turkey. It wouldn't surprise me, because they just They just seem to be their backs to the thing, making noise, and
they bounce off each other. But you know what they've got? They've got passion. I think sometimes our passion and our drive to actually support that club sometimes just goes, because you go there, you're really positive, you're really hopeful, then the ball starts kicking, and then you're like, ugh, here we go again.
Within 10 minutes, though, the players ain't. If the play, I always find, and this is my personal opinion, if a player ain't giving 110%, and I think every player, as soon as he pulls on that jersey, 110% is all I ask for. I don't care if you're shit, as long as you give 110%
Well,
to the
it's all about energy. People feed off energy. If the energy's flat, everything's going to be flat. So where does it start? Does it start with the fans, or does it start on the pitch?
I think it starts on the pitch, personally, at the moment.
Well, exactly. If you see something a bit dynamic, you go, oh, wow, look at that. But if it's a bit like, it kind of kills your mood, doesn't it?
It totally kills the mood. And then you get people, I get dug out a lot on Twitter. Oh, you weren't doing this, you weren't doing that. You don't know what I was doing. You wasn't with me.
I will say to people, it's draining. So when you're being negative or demanding people doing stuff, it's actually quite draining responding to these comments. And it's not just me that gets them, there's a lot of people that get them.
I mean, I get them as well, Heidi, and it's like I don't even respond to the people anymore because
just to be obviously just to add a point about obviously the atmosphere and so forth. Do you think that, because obviously I'm expecting a good atmosphere tomorrow. I think the fans will generate one. I think they will do, because
I hope we do, because it's an important game, isn't it?
I think they will do, and I think our fans will step up and create an atmosphere. And I think that maybe when we're looking at like, let's say, the league games, for example, again, it does come from the team, because the league, it's been so bad. Do we think that because obviously Bournemouth, let's say 2:00 on a Sunday, it's a kind of a dead rubber, isn't it? We're looking at that going, well, if we win, we kind of stay where we are. We lose, it's kind of one of those, and if we draw, it's kind of one of those as well. It's a nothing game for us, in a strange sense to say at this time of the season.
I'm not going to lie, I've given up on the league this season.
Yeah,
I would quite I'd sacrifice losing most league games as long as we stay up now. I did at one point want us to go down, but I think that might be a bit stupid. I'd quite sacrifice just finishing 17th if we just give it our all to try and win this Europa League. Not go out and put in half-hearted performances and then get the manager and the players blaming the fans. I'm not having that.
Yeah.
It's not my fault they're not capable of putting in a shift.
Yeah. Right. Well, thanks, Billy. We will carry on, because we're going to get some more people on.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, cheers, Billy. Appreciate it, mate.
No worries.
Cheers, mate.
Take care. Right, I'm going to get HJS on, and then it'll be Chaz afterwards. So, just about to add you in now. You are available. HJS, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. You all right?
Hello, mate. Sorry, I don't know your name, so I've just got you as HJS. So,
It's Harry.
Harry, how you doing?
Good evening, Harry.
Yeah, I'm not too bad, thanks. I'm not too bad. You have to forgive me. I've got a bit of a cold, so if I sound like I'm running out of breath, it's because of that.
It's going around.
It's going around, mate. Yeah, well, the space is yours, buddy.
Yeah, basically, this is not normally my type of thing, but I'm so passionate about the club. I've been going mailman since I was about 4 or 5, since the days of Brebrov and all of that. And I love what you guys do, and I just sort of, you can tell me if you don't think they're great or anything like that. I've just got a couple of ideas that I thought that could maybe take it to the next level for our atmosphere. So with the things like, we've got the march coming up. I was thinking maybe after the march, within one of the stands, maybe the south stand, or maybe it'd be a bit more poignant in the west stand, try and get the people that have gone on that march all together to chant within the stadium as well. I think it'd be quite good for a social media following if we're inside the ground with the flags and everyone's together, and it might fit a few people in there who are having their pints and all of that, because we're not going to be able to stop them.
Yeah, I think it's easier to meet inside the ground than inside the stand as well. So I think that's a decent idea, one we could definitely explore.
Yeah, because I know there's always, like, whenever we've had a good, like, we had a good game, or when we were in that Champions League run, everyone was meeting in that little downstairs bit in the south stand, banging out tunes and all of that, and we were really united. And I always think that's a great hub for us to start singing from. And I feel like if we get it going in there, and it
And then
gets
move
doing
it
the
in.
rounds on social media, and there it can transcend into the stadium as well when we're actually at the seats.
Absolutely. We have got a drummer for the march, haven't we, Billy? And we're trying to plan some coordinated chants. So maybe those coordinated chants we can kind of follow on inside. So that'd be good.
No, I think that'd be
good
brilliant.
as well.
And I know a few people, like the people I go with, they're a bit older, so they tried to do the march with us, but we ended up being about 10, 15 minutes late because they couldn't make the march. But we always meet in the south stand before the game, so I feel like they want to get amongst it, and I feel like that'd be something for those who can't do all the walking but will be at the game.
That's something that's easily organised. So I've written that down. Cheers, Harry.
No worries. I
Thank
do
you
have
very much.
one more thing, because I
Yeah, go
agree
for it,
with
Harry.
you, and I've
Great
been
points
on
there.
the idea of I'd love to do a walkout, but if 10, 15, 20 of us do a walkout, it's just going to look like a drop in the ocean. But
Exactly. We need big numbers for that.
from what I was thinking, the 26th minute, about all the years he's been in charge of us, and Enoch have been in charge and all that, if we get everyone who's got a banner, gets it out and starts holding it on that 26th minute, we start chanting. And if there are people with scarves, can't we chant and turn our back? Like, I'm not saying we do the Poznan, but if we turn our back and
if you look at our poster, we've actually, what was the minutes again, Billy? My brain's dead today. It was 24 and
It is 24 and
61. 61. We are planning for everyone at those points to hold up the scarves and banners, and obviously we can try and get chants going at the same time. I think Son Cheats is helping us with that.
Oh,
so
perfect.
I will chase him up.
Yeah, I know. I was having a little. I wouldn't say whinge up, but when I was feeling the emotion of coming back from the game against Bournemouth, I was having a complaint about why don't we all like storm out? So I thought I'd put my 50p in today and see what you guys think.
I think sometimes when it's that bad, people naturally do just go, don't they? They kind of go, I can't take it.
Yeah,
but,
yeah,
but
exactly.
thanks,
It's hard to generate an atmosphere when you're watching that sort of football and all.
I think that's what we have to take into consideration. I mean, if I
Absolutely.
watch it at home, it's completely different to when I'm going in the stadium. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of, when I'm in the stadium and it's bad, I'm numb half the time. So I'm like, what am I watching?
Yeah, exactly.
And
So
I really like the idea of meeting up inside the stadium. Firstly, because it just be good, like socially as well. Like we could all get talking and stuff. But and it's much easier to organise than everyone walking around the stand, because there's barriers in between. So that's definitely something that we could look to do on the 6th of April. And I think you're totally right. In terms of walkout, we would absolutely love. There's nothing that we'd love more to organise a mass walkout. It'd be brilliant. It'd be such an incredible. Like you see the AC Milan fans doing something similar the other day. But in a 65,000, you're exactly right. In a 65,000 seat stadium, you're going to need like 10k to be able to make it sort of visually noticed. And 10k is simply not realistic at the moment. Maybe one day, I think maybe if we got like relegated or something like that, we could attract those kind of numbers inside the stadium.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
That's why we're trying to do things inside. I think you're right. Like realistic things like chanting inside, hold up the flags, and that's why we're really keen to push the flags and the scarves and the banners and all that kind of stuff, because it's an easy way for fans to get on board. But trust me, we would love to do a walkout, wouldn't we, H, if it was possible? But it's so difficult. And the thing is with our stadium as well, our club have made no effort whatsoever to seat like-minded fans together. Like there's no singing section, there's no like youth section like some clubs have. They've priced out the youth generation, so it's really difficult to organise things inside the stadium because they haven't really given any kind of thought to putting like-minded fans together.
Yeah, exactly. But that was all my radical ideas. I thank you guys for.
No, they were brilliant. They're really good, Harry.
I am really supporting what you guys do.
I think we can definitely say right now that we will definitely look into that inside the stadium thing, because that's really easy to sort.
Yeah, I think it'd be a good starting point before we all go in, to be honest with you, after the march.
Yeah.
Well, for those that are going in.
Well, I'll be in the south stand, so I'll be ready for
Come
it.
lead
and
it.
Hopefully, I'll see some people down there, and we could get something going.
Well, you can help lead it if you want to. Just get in the DMs. We can sort it all out. No problem.
Perfect. Will do. Cheers, guys.
Brilliant.
Right.
Thanks, Harry.
Cheers, Harry.
Thanks for coming on. All right. I've got to be honest. He makes a good suggestion there.
No, it is actually. It might start the momentum off in the stadium for that for that day's protest. Would be good.
Yeah, I think so. Right, I'm going to get Chaz B in now because he's been waiting. So, and then I've got somebody else in there. So let me add Chaz in quickly. Chaz, are you there? Chaz?
Hello?
Good
Hello,
evening,
buddy.
Chaz. How you doing?
Yeah, not too. What a terrible time to request to speak. I've got grandkids here and dogs going mental. Anyway, listen, I'll try and be as quick as I can.
No, go for it. Space is yours.
I spoke to when you had the protest, the last protest, the march. Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
You're doing really, really good.
I appreciate it.
I got in contact with my mates who I used to go with. Went for years. I mean, we've been going since like mid-70s, sort of thing. And I was surprised to find out that they still all meet up match day. Right?
Yeah.
They go in the pub and watch the games. So if it's live, if it's on Sky or BT or whatever, they'll be in the pub and they'll watch the games. But they will not, since Wembley, they went to Wembley a few times, and I was there a couple of times with them, but they won't go to the new ground. And I said, why is that? They said, well, what's the point? In the pub, we can stand and watch it together, have a pint, have a laugh, you know, and enjoy it.
Wow.
Whereas we go to the game, and you got matey over there, and none
They
of us
don't
sit together.
help. They never helped seating people
Can't get
together, did
tickets
they?
together.
Yeah. They never
So they've
helped
just
when
given
people
up.
moved.
No,
Yeah.
and they won't have it. They've totally refused. So my point is, or my question is, what can be done outside of games? I know the games get all the publicity. They're the ones, you know, if anything's going to get highlighted, fair enough. It's going to be on TV. It's going to be during games and whatever. But sort of outside, because this, I mean, as my mates are, I'm sort of, you know, I'm fed up with the back teeth and Levy and everything else. But they're going to take an awful lot of encouragement to get in. I mean, I'm going to turn up on the 6th. I'm flying over on the 5th. And I'm going to be there on the 6th. So it'd be nice to meet some of you. But
Yeah, brilliant.
What I'm
I just-
planning, Chaz, for that day is there's plenty of people that are just coming to the march. So
Yeah.
what we're going to do, and there's plenty of people coming alone as well. So for those coming alone, I was going to arrange a meeting point. You can all come march with me because I won't be at the front. We can go in the middle or whatever. And then afterwards, the guys that aren't going to the game, I will put a tweet out for a meeting point in a pub where we're all, well, I don't think it's on TV, but you know, we'll find a stream. You know,
Yeah.
we'll work it out where we're all
Yeah.
going afterwards. So that is planned for that day too, because I've taken that into consideration. Because some people are travelling 3 hours, 4 hours, some from abroad, just to come to the march. So there will be a meeting point if you're not going into the stadium after the march, where you can go and have a social drink,
Yeah.
chat
Brilliant.
about the game, find a
I've been
stream.
offered a ticket, but I'm just, as my mates, you know, talking to my mates, they got a point.
They don't want to. Yes, that's
Am I
fine.
going
We
to
can
come? Am
sort
I going to
that.
fly over, sit on my own? You know, and
You
watch
can come sit in the
Southampton.
pub with me, mate.
I will do. I will do.
We've got,
And I should buy you that bottle. I promised you.
Chaz,
Well, there we go.
Chaz,
we've
just a
got
quick
Brian
question
coming
for
Yes,
you.
from
mate.
Canada as well. Brian's coming all the way from Canada. He's not going in, so
Yeah,
Yeah,
amazing.
and I think Al's not going in with one of our guys. He's coming to the
Yeah.
pub. He's listening at the moment, so he might give me a wave. He's not. Or his dog's
if
probably
we lose
barking.
tomorrow, I don't think I'll go in either. To be honest, sometimes.
To be honest, that's a good point as well, Billy. You make. I mean, if we lose tomorrow, I mean, I've got a ticket to the game, but do you go in, or do you just go and sit in the pub and you can sit with everybody and have a
Well,
drink?
you can come to the pub with us lot. There's half going. Yeah, Al's waving now. Hi, Al. You can hear me. Yeah, we're going to the pub with everyone who's deciding not to
Yeah, I
go
mean,
to the game.
if you go in a pub, whatever pub it is in the area, I mean, I know because I grew up in one. You're supporting local
Absolutely.
businesses that have
Exactly.
supported the fans, that have fed and, you know, watered the fans for 50, 60, 70, 80 years. Whereas this prat, who's just, you know, taking, well, oh God, see, I'm getting worked up again now. The dog's woke up. Right.
Chaz, just a quick one while I've got
Yeah,
you.
mate.
You know your friends that you say that, do they have tickets, or do they just like literally they just turn up to Tottenham on a game day and they'll go and sit in a pub because they can sit and watch it together?
No, don't have tickets, not bothered.
Oh wow.
Don't apply. I'm just not interested. I mean, I think when season tickets first came in, you know, I mean, there's always been season tickets, but when it became all ticket, you had to have a season ticket. You know, they did for a couple of years.
And then decided that because
Then
it's hard
just,
to
you
sit
know, it was
together.
like, what's this? You know, I mean, it's just because
Yeah.
what you want to do, you want to be with your mate. I mean, the best thing the club could do is rip out all the seats in the South Stand, the old Park Lane, sell season tickets for, what is it, 15,000 capacity. You can have 20, 25,000 standing, and you can stand where you want. You will get a cracking atmosphere.
Absolutely. Would health and
Because you
safety
get
allow
all
that now?
your
I don't know.
mates standing
Yeah,
together.
that's it, the health and safety.
No, you can do it now. We got safe standing approval. They could do it if they wanted to.
Oh, there you
Is
go
that
then.
is that right, Billy? Yeah, is that
Yeah,
right?
that's what it's
Oh,
built
wow.
with them bars there. Safe
I
standing
mean, for
approved.
the whole club, to help the whole club, why not just? I know he ain't going to do it, and it's never going to happen. Take all the seats out the south stand, make it standing. You can, you'd still get a few bob for those season tickets. You get a load of money, but you'll get so many people giving up their seated tickets so they can
100%.
be together, stand with their
Yeah.
mates.
Yeah, Chaz. Just one last thing, if I
Yeah.
can ask you a question. Whereabouts are you based? You said you're flying over.
I'm in Sweden, Stockholm.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to obviously just a point to say. So I want to say thanks for coming over on the 6th. It's much appreciated.
No, my pleasure, mate. I'm glad someone's doing something about it.
Yeah,
He's
no,
Tottenham born and bred though, so he's kind of
Yeah.
coming home.
No,
Yeah,
but it's still a journey for you to make, and obviously, for us to, like we said, every single fan counts. So the fact you're making that journey.
Well, I'll tell you a quick story, right? This is as quick as I can.
Mhm.
The Coventry Cup final, right? My wife was pregnant with our first daughter. I was building our house, and on the Wednesday before the cup final, I was in a pub after work, and one of my mates, who's a Spurs fan, said, "We got to do it, haven't we? Let's go." Oh God, I can't do this. Finances were tight, obviously. But I went home, got on bended knee. Following day was on a train to Gothenburg, on a boat from Gothenburg to Harwich, and we got to London Saturday morning. We got tickets for the cup final. We lost, all right, but it was worth it. It was great. Now I'll tell you what. Now finances are okay now, no problem. I could get on a plane 2 hours, and I can't give a toss because of the way things are.
Yeah.
No, it's just the commitment for me until things are different.
Yeah, I can obviously understand that, and I think plenty of other fans feel the same as you, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
But anyway, well done, and I'll see you at 6. I've got to go and take care of these.
Yeah.
definitely. We'll see you then, mate.
Thanks,
All
Chaz.
right, thanks very much,
All the
everyone.
best, buddy.
Cheers.
Take care.
Well done. Cheers. Bye.
Getting some good suggestions there from Chaz, and obviously nice that he's coming over as well from
He
Stockholm.
said, I said after last when he was coming over. It'd be good to see him.
Yeah, really, really good. So, right, we'll get to the other requests. We've got George and Chef. We're going to add Chef in now to because he's been waiting, and then George, and I think we'll look to try and wrap it up from there. Unless anybody else wants to come in, then please, obviously, request. But just about to add you in now, Chef, as a speaker, so you can put some points across to us. Chef, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there. But big up yourself, guys.
Good
No,
evening.
I mean,
Very kind of you.
good
Thank you,
evening.
mate.
Good evening. Good evening. Sorry, I was
Good
just
evening.
finishing
The
this.
space is
I was
yours.
just eating a Kit Kat, but
Throwing you by surprise.
looking at what you're doing, and I'm looking at something that I was watching ongoing, and there's two correlations that could be really useful. And if you do get the time, guys, I commend you to go and have a look at Led by Donkey's campaign against the Tories and their work against doing public displays against, because what you're saying is factual. You can't control what goes on at football. Football is something that people do together. They go to the game, and like we know, people sometimes work all week, and it's the only time they see their friends, it's the only time they see the family. We all know what it's like when you go to a game. Say like you're losing, everyone will be in the concourse drinking, not even watching the game. So it's like what Heidi's saying about obviously about not being able to cause a walkout. You can't, because you can't go around all those little fractions of people. When you like go 1-0 down to Ipswich, say you've got 10,000 people in the stand, about 2,000 of them will be in the concourse. And it's funny, drink, depression, anxiety, all goes together. So it's the first thing that people do. So outside the stadium will be your will be your main battleground. But when you look at Led by Donkeys, they were very clever where they did projected displays up. You could do a night game where you have a projector up talking about all the like what we talked about, the financials, and you could put that up against the stadium on a night game. You could, some of those billboards walk into the ground from like the the Seven Sisters train station. You could try and rent one of them billboards out with one of your great slogans.
Do you know
Because
what? I think Tottenham own most of those billboards. We've looked
Yeah,
into
I
it.
think we've looked.
Okay. So you're on my page then, aren't you?
Yeah,
Because
we've looked
Yeah,
into
I
it.
think
I think
7 of the
Tottenham
10
own
are
8 out
owned
of
by
10
them.
billboards.
yeah,
And
you understand. You understand. There's only so far you can take it with flags, so you have to look at the next big thing. But I think what was good about what they did is like what you're doing is like you understand that you can't make people walk out of a stand or give up their season ticket, but what you can do, what you have been doing, is make Daniel Levy take notice and get his wallet out and go over to France and kick Lange up the arse, because that's what you guys did. You guys did that because there was no Matthias Tell, there was no Kola Moani until your big protest that embarrassed him. Okay, so it's about just for you guys to keep being able to grow your protests, because like what people were saying before, it was because of what you were doing that was new, fresh and different that got to the news. So it'll just be good to see what other things you could do, like saying get an electronic billboard, maybe projecting some
we
of the
looked at a
damning.
projector, but we need to find out who owns the place
yeah,
across the road, the flat upstairs, don't
yeah,
we? That was the
it's
that was
definitely
the
Levy,
something we
answer.
explored, and we
you're
will
right,
definitely.
Levy pretty much owns everything on that
Yeah.
Tottenham Road, and
Yeah,
Yeah,
then he owns everything behind it because obviously he's building the hotel and the flats. I think everything within like a 1.5, like within a half-mile radius, is pretty much owned
I
by
think
them.
that's
But
what we've discovered as we've tried to
Yeah.
look at doing stuff.
but
We're like, oh, we can't do that
yeah,
then.
there's
because
still definitely
the,
avenues that we can explore in that, because there's like, led by donkeys, they drive trucks and stuff with projectors on them, don't they, and all that kind of stuff. So,
yes, yeah, it's
yeah,
fantastic, and
it's, you know,
I'll
I'm,
just see what you're doing. I'll just see what you're doing, Billy, and it goes side by side. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean?
completely agree, and we have started to explore those avenues, and we'll definitely keep doing it, because we're always trying to find new ways of pushing the message. Like the first banner that we did in that game, that went beyond our wildest dreams. Like that was just such a, the traction that got. So if we did something bigger, we do have big plans, and who
Should
knows
tell you
where.
something else, Billy, that you could do that's overlooked and it gets traction. Stickers. Give
Yeah.
people that go
There's
into the
quite
stadium stickers, and you
there's
stick
quite a
them on
few
the seat.
there's quite a few guys that are doing stickers.
The
So
people that sell the flags are also selling stickers as well, so keep an eye on
Yeah,
them.
stick them on
scarves,
the
yeah.
seat.
I just linked them underneath his space actually,
So,
and a lot of
but
people.
I need to send you a message anyway, because I ain't going to games at the minute. But I'm not
Yeah.
saying it to be arrogant. I'm not loaded, but let's just say we need to talk, because if I can't be there, I want to make a contribution to the next flag or whatever. But when you finish the space, Billy, I'll message you. So, and I'll give you something towards the good cause, because keep up the great work, and I wish you all the best with it, and I fully support you, fully
Thank
on board with
you.
what you're doing.
Thanks,
Thank you
Jeff.
very
That's
much.
it's
On that note as
really
well, a lot
cool.
of people talk about flying a plane over, but that's not possible in Tottenham. It's a no-fly zone. So we have it's another thing that a lot of people get us in the comments and stuff. Have you looked at flying a plane over? But it's impossible in our stadium, sadly. Maybe for an away game it might be different, but I know that can be really effective, but it's sadly not possible in Tottenham.
Yeah. Thanks, Jeff. Really appreciate you coming on.
No, thank you for having me. Take
No,
care, guys.
Speak
pleasure.
soon. See you later.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye bye. Again, another person with some good points there, guys, with regards to obviously what we've already looked into, which is the billboards. But as we found out, I think most are owned by Tottenham.
I think most of everything practically, buildings.
Yeah, so it's very difficult, and we do exhaust many avenues and look down a lot of avenues as a team, and it is it's not easy, and we try and find the best solutions to obviously to drive forward the process that we want to put in place, and obviously keep driving the message. But it's not always easy, is it, to get that message across, I suppose.
But we do devise different plans. Sometimes nothing will come, then all of a sudden it's like go. So there's so much going on. I think when we're quiet, people think we're not doing anything, but you'd be surprised what goes on behind the scenes
It's every day, isn't
constantly.
it?
Every
It's every
day,
day.
every day, most days, to the point I
Yeah.
sit there rocking in the corner going, just be quiet, everyone. But anyway, George, you're next.
Yes, George.
You're crazy. You do everything at like 5 in the morning, so I don't know how you do it.
Yeah.
I am up walking the dog.
5 a.m. workout, man.
Yeah, but my brain is awake. I wake up, I take the dog out, and I'm awake, and I'm literally, my brain doesn't stop all day. but then it
I wake
starts
up in the
closing
morning
down
to
about 9.
you've written a whole manifesto, and this is only 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, I know, but I'm prepped for the day. Then I can enjoy the rest of my day.
Oh,
Work's done. That's done.
it is amazing, H, I must say. It is amazing. So it's fully appreciated as well. I know the team appreciates it. So should we get George on as the last caller? We won't take any more after this, and then we'll wrap it up. So George, about to add you in. I hope you're well and just connecting now. George, you there?
You all right? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, buddy. How are
Hi,
you?
George.
Yeah, not bad.
Good.
So
Space is yours, mate.
I spoke to Billy the other day, and basically
Yes,
just
mate, you did.
about the development stuff and whatnot. So I worked for F3, which is the
I
architecture
had to say,
company.
mate, that some of the stuff that you sent me is proper gold. I really look forward to delving into it deeper because you sent me I learned a lot from reading those messages that you sent me.
That's good to hear, and like I just want to say if it's helpful for anyone, like if you want to hear more about any of that sort of stuff, I'm happy to
Can I ask you a question,
talk about that.
Like, obviously, I haven't shared it publicly because a lot of it's linked to your job that you had in the past and stuff. Are you happy to talk about that kind of thing like publicly, or is it a no-go zone?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Do you know what I mean? I no longer work for the company. Do you know what I mean? And I'm kind of glad about that. It was a bit of a dream job to begin with, like early stage of my career, to be able to go and like work at
And what was your job for everyone listening?
architectural assistant. So I'm kind of at the beginning of my career, and it was kind of like going and working for your boyhood club. It's kind of like, oh, that's brilliant. Do you know what I mean? It's a really exciting thing, and it turned out to be something quite different. And for the majority of the time that I was there, I was working on the hotel, which was, as a fan, pretty kind of morally, not fun, put it that way. But it gave a real insight into everything which is kind of going on with the club, and how much Levy actually has to do with all the development around that area. There's a lot going on. They own a lot. They're building a lot, and they're pushing a lot of kind of that local community out of the area. A lot of the places that we've kind of come to love as fans are kind of no longer going to be there in the future if it continues to go down the path that it's going down now. A lot of the future developments that are planned are we're gonna lose some of the places that places like Chit King, the pubs around the area, all these local businesses that we've kind of
So do you
grown to
think
love as.
do you think his ultimate game is he wants ultimate control of every entertainment for that stadium, where we drink, where we eat, what we do?
Absolutely, it's a multi kind of the the area around Chit King is earmarked for what is being described as like a hyperbole music arena.
Yeah.
So it's not just about the football. It's very much he wants a lot of stuff going in there. I know that there's actually areas of the concourse in the stadium which are currently unused and unopened, which they're working on at the moment, and they're looking at trying to collaborate with really odd businesses like the Hard Rock Cafe and stuff like that. So it's not stuff which is bringing more seats and spaces for fans within the stadium. It's more corporate.
More like like maybe like the O2. They've got like the
Yeah,
side.
that's what I was about to say. The O2.
Absolutely, but the main thing is just the mass of housing, residential stuff that's going on there, which by no means is a bad thing. We're in a housing crisis at the moment. As part of my job, it's something I'm very passionate about. But we see it a lot in London, where in particular, where there's this kind of idea of gentrification and kind of pushing people out in the community, and you only have to go down towards Tottenham Hale to see where that's happened really locally, and sort of these big high-rise apartments and whatnot, and the people that were living there before being pushed out into completely different areas and no longer being part of that community. And that, I don't think that's right. I think that's what makes Tottenham such an important club. I think because it's such an integral part of our community up there.
Well, they kind of
Um,
drive the message. They work a lot with the community, so it kind of contradicts their message to what you're saying. Do you know what I mean? Because
Absolutely, and
so
I don't doubt for a minute that they do a huge amount within the community at all. But in terms of the development stuff, I find it personally really difficult to see how a lot of that is going to positively impact the
I
community.
think it's the way you get round councils. I work in property, so it's the way you get round councils. So if you're doing a lot for the community, you can kind of push something through. If you don't, so it kind
Absolutely.
of works that way. So they're kind of a double-edged sword of what they're doing.
But you should, for example, have a minimum 20 of any large development. You should have a minimum 25% of social rent or affordable housing.
Yeah,
I can promise you that the hotel is not gonna have any. It's not gonna have any affordable housing in there at all. And half of that tower is residential.
but
Um,
his forte was always property before football, so his knowledge will know this and how to get around those loopholes, not to get it in there. So
Absolutely, and he's well over it as well. You know,
yeah,
we would have weeks where I would have weeks where I was in the office till 3-4 o'clock in the morning every day, and we would finish a deadline on a Friday evening, and he would be in on the Saturday looking through 500 drawings, personally. He would often, because our office was above the ticket office, so he would often be kind of coming across from Lily Whitehouse, and he was heavily involved. It wasn't just something that he was kind of, bankrolling and kind of on the outside of. This is something that he is, integral to.
so that's kind of why football comes second, obviously, because you don't have enough time to run a football club effectively and a business like that, because your time
Absolutely.
is stretched.
And I think I speak
Absolutely.
for everyone. I don't think this will be the last time we hear from you, George, because that's, it sounds like you've got some fascinating knowledge that we'd love to dive into deeper. But yeah, man, let's have another chat at some point on a space, because it sounds like we could learn a lot from it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Definitely always happy to.
Yeah, George, that was like that. I obviously to echo what Billy said. Yeah, some really interesting points that you make there, and some. It seems to me that we'll definitely be hearing from yourself in the near future. And I'll obviously let Billy sort that out with yourself, and it'd be definitely good to get more information from yourself and get you on a space, I suppose.
Top stuff. Cheers, guys, for all the work that you guys are doing.
No
No,
worries. Thank you,
you.
George. Right, okay, guys. So before we wrap it up, Billy, Heidi, you got anything to obviously reiterate from today's space?
I think
Yeah,
I've covered it all. I don't think I need
just
to talk anymore.
our good friend and member Chaz, will be uploading the spaces onto YouTube as well. So if you're not, if you didn't manage to catch it all, or if you want to listen back to any points, I think there's been some really fascinating calls today. So thank you for them. They will all be recorded and uploaded to YouTube. So I'm not 100% sure what the change for Tottenham YouTube is, but if you keep an eye on our Twitter, it'll definitely be on there somewhere.
Everything's in our link tree. So if you go on our
Yeah.
bio, everything, all our social media, everything's there.
Yeah, and all of our spaces will be captured on there. We've got just starting to put some things into work for our space next week. We're definitely going to keep going with the weekly spaces, but they're all uploaded to YouTube as well, and past spaces are all on there. So yeah, thank you to Chaz for sorting them, man. But if you want to keep in
Thanks,
touch with
Chaz. I think he's listening as well.
He is here tonight, actually. You can give us a wave, Chaz? No?
Yeah, go on, Chaz. Give us a wave.
And just to reiterate again, I think the key message tonight is obviously we look forward to seeing everyone on April the 6th. But if you do want to get involved with the flags, check our Twitter for the link there. If you do want to get involved with the scarves, they're not affiliated with us, but they are on our Twitter page. I just commented them underneath this space, actually. And let's
They
get
also
loads
do
of
the stickers.
Yeah. They also do stickers. Sticker them around everywhere. And let's get loads of people with a visual message inside that stadium to show that we want change.
Yeah, great points, Billy. There, I think again to reiterate about we'll definitely have a discussion about the in the stadium, getting everyone together. I think that's a really good suggestion made today.
Absolutely, I've got that all written down, ready to go.
Perfect. All right, guys. Billy, Heidi, thanks so much for today, and obviously taking your time out for this evening.
Thank you to everyone that tuned in as well.
No problem.
And goodbye, everyone. And I'm going to go and carry on with my evening.
Yeah, and thank you everyone for listening as well. Like I say, it doesn't go unnoticed, and we appreciate you taking your time out to listen to our space. So have a lovely evening, everyone, and as always, come on you Spurs.